What if the most advanced engineering in human history wasn't built with machines, but buried beneath sand, stone, and silence? Beneath the scorching sun of the Egyptian desert, a monument rises with impossible precision. Its scale vast, its origins veiled in layers of time. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza, a structure that has defied erosion, invasion, and explanation for over 4,500 years. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4 millennia, comprising over 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks, some weighing more than 70 tons. Its construction remains one of the greatest engineering puzzles in history. No writings describe how it was built. No blueprints remain. Yet, its alignment with the cardinal points is nearly perfect, accurate to within a fraction of a degree. Inside, narrow shafts rise at precise angles, connecting sealed chambers to the stars. Some believe they served symbolic or spiritual purposes. Others argue they hint at scientific knowledge far ahead of its time. In 2017, a team of researchers using muon imaging discovered a previously unknown void, a cavity at least 100 feet long, hidden deep within the pyramid's core. Its purpose? Still unknown. Was the Great Pyramid simply a tomb for a divine ruler, a cosmic calendar, or something far more complex? Centuries of excavation have answered many questions. Yet with every discovery, the enigma deepens. As modern science peers deeper into its ancient stone, the Great Pyramid stands silent, massive, and still holding secrets it has kept for millennia. It winds across mountains, deserts, and grasslands, an unbroken scar etched into the earth by centuries of labor and ambition. The Great Wall of China is not a single wall, but a sprawling network of fortifications, stretching over 13,000 miles, and shrouded in legend as much as stone. Construction began as early as the 7th century BCE, with independent walls built by rival kingdoms. But it was under the Qin dynasty, in the 3rd century BCE, that Emperor Qin Shi Huang ordered these walls to be connected, an audacious attempt to shield the newly unified China from northern invaders. Laborers, soldiers, and prisoners toiled for decades, often in brutal conditions. It's said that for every foot of stone laid, a life may have been lost. Built from whatever materials the terrain allowed, earth, wood, brick, or stone, the wall was more than a barrier. Watchtowers, signal beacons, and troop barracks transformed it into a living military system. Fires and smoke relayed messages across vast distances in minutes. Yet despite its might, the wall was breached more than once, raising questions about whether its power lay more in symbolism than defense. Today, parts of the wall lie in ruins, reclaimed by forest and sand. Satellite images reveal forgotten stretches, still buried beneath centuries of silence. Was it ever truly meant to keep others out, or to define what lay within? Though weathered by time, the Great Wall remains, an enduring testament to human will, and a reminder that some boundaries are drawn as much in the mind as in stone. In the ancient harbor of Rhodes, where the Aegean Sea meets stone and sky, a giant once stood silent, gleaming, and taller than any statue the world had seen. This was the Colossus of Rhodes, a marvel of bronze and ambition that would inspire wonder long after its fall. Erected around 280 BCE, the Colossus was built to honor Helios, the sun god, after the island's successful defense against a year-long siege. Standing over 100 feet high, roughly the height of the modern Statue of Liberty's pedestal, it was crafted by the sculptor chairs of Lindos, using iron and stone for structure, and bronze plates to form its skin. According to some accounts, it took 12 years to complete. Despite common myth, it likely did not straddle the harbor. Engineers now believe it stood on solid ground, near the city's entrance. But even without spanning ships, its presence was commanding. Its polished surface catching the sun's rays as a beacon of resilience and divine favor. Then, just 56 years after its completion, the statue was shattered by a massive earthquake. For centuries, the broken Colossus lay in ruins, its twisted bronze limbs drawing travelers from distant lands. Even in collapse, it was awe-inspiring. When it was finally melted down and sold by invaders in the 7th century CE, the Colossus disappeared, but the mystery of its exact form, its construction, and its fleeting glory remains. Was it a warning against hubris, or a monument to human courage? The answer may still lie beneath the sands and sea, waiting to be uncovered. Rising from the shores of ancient Egypt, where the Nile meets the Mediterranean, stood a tower so brilliant, it guided sailors by firelight across vast seas. The lighthouse of Alexandria, Pharos, was not only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, it was the ancient world's answer to the unknown. Commissioned by Ptolemy I and completed under his son around 280 BCE, the lighthouse stood on the island of Pharos, connected to the city of Alexandria by a man-made causeway. Estimates of its height range from 330 to 400 feet, making it one of the tallest structures of antiquity. For mariners navigating treacherous waters, it was both guide and guardian. Constructed in 3 tiers, square at the base, octagonal in the middle, and cylindrical at the top, the tower was capped with a polished bronze mirror said to reflect sunlight miles out to sea. At night, a furnace blazed from within, its flames magnified and directed outward. Some ancient sources even speak of strange lenses and mechanisms, their exact design lost to time. For centuries, the lighthouse endured earthquakes and empires, but by the 14th century, repeated seismic damage reduced it to rubble. Its stones were repurposed into fortresses, its light extinguished. Divers today explore the waters near Alexandria's harbor, uncovering statues and blocks believed to be fragments of the fallen tower. Yet the full design, the engineering secrets behind its gleam, remain elusive. Was it merely a marvel of architecture, or did it house knowledge now forgotten beneath the waves? The sea remembers, even when history does not. Amid the arid plains of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Euphrates winds through dust and empire, legend speaks of a garden that defied nature itself. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, lush, elevated, and shrouded in mystery, were said to bloom in the heart of a desert kingdom. According to ancient Greek and Roman writers, the gardens were built by King Nebuchadnezzar II in the 6th century BCE, a gift to his wife Amytis, who longed for the green hills of her homeland. Terraces rose like a verdant mountain from the palace walls, each level brimming with exotic trees, flowering vines, and cascading waterfalls. It was an engineering feat beyond its time, requiring irrigation systems to lift water from the river below to nourish the towering vegetation. Yet, for all its wonder, no definitive trace of the gardens has ever been found. Cuneiform tablets from Babylon make no mention of them. Archaeological excavations have uncovered palaces, temples, and ziggurats, but no gardens matching the ancient descriptions. Some scholars now believe the legend may have originated not in Babylon, but hundreds of miles away in Nineveh, capital of the Assyrian Empire, where King Sennacherib built elaborate gardens with advanced aqueducts and screw-like devices to elevate water. So did the Hanging Gardens truly exist? Or are they a tale spun from fragmented memory, distant admiration, or confused geography? Somewhere beneath the ruins, or perhaps only in the minds of ancient poets, the gardens remain, ever green, ever elusive, a vision of paradise suspended between myth and stone. Discovered in the depths of the Aegean Sea, encrusted in centuries of marine silence, a corroded lump of bronze and wood would soon rewrite what we thought we knew about ancient technology. This is the Antikythera mechanism, an object so complex, it seemed to have no place in the ancient world. Recovered in 1901 from a Roman-era shipwreck near the island of Antikythera, the mechanism appeared at first to be little more than debris. But over time, and with advances in X-ray imaging, a far more extraordinary truth emerged. Hidden within its corroded shell were dozens of interlocking gears, precisely cut, expertly arranged, forming a device capable of predicting celestial movements with astonishing accuracy. Dating to around 150 BCE, the mechanism could chart the positions of the sun and moon, track the lunar phases, predict eclipses, and possibly even model the movements of the planets. Its inscriptions reference the Metonic cycle, the Saros eclipse cycle, and the Olympic Games calendar, suggesting it served not just as a scientific tool, but as a cultural one. How such mechanical sophistication appeared in the Hellenistic world remains a mystery. No comparable device is known to have existed for over 1,000 years after its creation. Its origin, purpose, and the identity of its creator, possibly linked to the school of Archimedes, are still matters of scholarly debate. Was it a lone invention, or a remnant of a lost lineage of ancient engineering? The fragments whisper through time, hinting at knowledge once held, and then forgotten. What else, we must wonder, lies buried in the deep? Beneath the lush plains of central China, a silent army lay hidden for over 2 millennia, lined in rows, frozen in formation, awaiting orders that would never come. This is the Terracotta Army of Xi'an, a funerary force crafted not for battle, but for eternity. In 1974, local farmers digging a well uncovered fragments of clay near the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. What they found would soon become one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. Thousands of life-sized warriors, each unique in expression, armor, and stance, arranged in underground chambers like a ghostly battalion. Commissioned around 210 BCE, the Terracotta Army was part of a vast necropolis designed to mirror the emperor's worldly realm. Artisans sculpted soldiers, archers, cavalry, and chariots, complete with horses and wooden weaponry, intended to protect Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. Their level of detail is astonishing. Strands of hair, the tread on sandals, even subtle facial scars. No two figures are identical, yet only a fraction of the mausoleum has been excavated. The emperor's actual tomb, described in ancient texts as containing rivers of mercury and a ceiling encrusted with stars, remains sealed, possibly by deliberate design, or by dangers still unknown. Why did this emperor command such an enormous project? Was it fear of the afterlife or a belief in dominion beyond death? For now, the Terracotta Army stands guard in silence. But deep beneath the earth, the heart of the tomb remains untouched, and whatever secrets lie within, they continue to wait. Towering above the streets of Segovia, Spain, with a grace that defies its age, the aqueduct of Segovia stands as a quiet testament to Roman ambition and engineering mastery. Built without mortar, held together only by precision and gravity, it has endured for nearly 2,000 years. Constructed during the late 1st or early 2nd century CE, likely under the reign of Emperor Domitian or Trajan, the aqueduct carried fresh water from the Frio River over 10 miles away to the ancient city of Segovia. Its most iconic section, a series of soaring arches more than 90 feet tall, strides through the heart of the city, blending seamlessly into the modern landscape. Composed of roughly 24,000 granite blocks, the aqueduct was designed with meticulous care. Its gradient was so precise that water flowed steadily over miles, aided only by gravity. No cement binds the stones, only the masterful alignment of each block. For centuries, it supplied the city with water, serving both public fountains and private homes. And yet, despite its grandeur, records of its construction are absent. No surviving inscription names its architect, its exact date, or the techniques used. Inscriptions once carved into its summit have been lost to time, erased by erosion, conquest, or deliberate hands. Why was such a monumental structure left anonymous? Was it humility, or something forgotten? The aqueduct still casts its shadow each evening over the cobbled streets of Segovia. And as the sun slips behind its arches, it whispers a quiet riddle, one written in stone, but not yet fully read. Carved deep into the rose-red cliffs of southern Jordan, the city of Petra is best known for its monumental facades, but its true marvel may lie in what cannot be seen at first glance. Beneath the stone lies a hidden network of channels, dams, and reservoirs, a masterclass in hydraulic engineering forged by the Nabateans over 2,000 years ago. Situated in one of the most arid regions of the ancient world, Petra's survival and prosperity depended not on its temples, but on its ability to control water. The Nabateans, a nomadic Arab people turned city builders, transformed the rugged canyons into a sustainable oasis. They carved channels directly into the sandstone cliffs, directing flash floodwaters into a network of subterranean pipes and rock-cut tunnels. Cisterns were placed strategically to collect rainwater, while terraced reservoirs stored enough to supply tens of thousands of people year-round. What makes the system remarkable is its blend of subtlety and resilience. Terracotta pipes were embedded within carved stone walls. Silt traps filtered debris. Even decorative structures like fountains were part of a broader hydraulic plan. Every contour of the city seems to respond to the flow of water, guided, not resisted. And yet, for all its sophistication, much of Petra's water infrastructure remained hidden for centuries, buried beneath sand and silence. It was only with modern archaeological efforts that the full scope of the system began to emerge. Was this knowledge passed down through generations? Or did it vanish as suddenly as the city itself? In Petra, the stone may speak loudest, but it is the water, still echoing through ancient channels, that tells the deeper story. High in the cloud-kissed Andes of Peru, where mist coils around stone like breath, Machu Picchu emerges, not just as a lost city, but as a testament to how ancient engineering could harmonize with the mountain itself. Its famed terraces and water channels are more than architectural features. They are keys to its endurance. Built in the 15th century under the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, Machu Picchu was carefully etched into a ridge nearly 8,000 feet above sea level. The steep terrain posed immense challenges, but the Inca saw opportunity. They carved agricultural terraces directly into the mountainside, stabilizing the slope while creating fertile, flat land for farming. These terraces weren't merely for crops. They were a sophisticated system of soil management, layered with gravel and sand to promote drainage and prevent erosion during torrential rains. Interwoven through this landscape is a series of stone-lined canals and fountains, fed by a natural spring high above the site. The Inca engineers designed a water distribution system that directed flow to ceremonial baths, irrigation channels, and drinking fountains, all regulated by gravity alone. Even today, the water still flows. What's most striking is the balance. The city does not fight the mountain, but follows its contours. Each wall leans slightly inward. Each stone fits without mortar, resisting centuries of earthquakes and time. Yet Machu Picchu was abandoned scarcely a century after it was built. Why? War, disease, or sacred intention? The terraces still hold their shape. The channels still whisper with water. And in their silent efficiency, they carry the memory of a civilization that never saw itself apart from the land it shaped. Above the ancient city of Cusco, where the Andes rise like waves of stone, a fortress sprawls across the high plateau, its walls immense, its purpose still debated. This is Sacsayhuaman, a masterpiece of Inca stonework, where the mystery lies not in what was built, but in how. Constructed in the 15th century during the height of the Inca Empire, Sacsayhuaman's walls are composed of massive limestone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons. But it is the way these stones fit together that has captivated archaeologists and engineers alike. Without mortar, the blocks are joined so precisely that not even a blade of grass can slide between them. Each stone was individually shaped to interlock with its neighbors, forming complex, multi-angled joints that have resisted earthquakes for centuries. No wheeled vehicles were used. No iron tools have been found. The Inca shaped and transported these stones with techniques still not fully understood. Some theories suggest the use of wooden rollers, ropes, and labor brigades. Others point to knowledge of stone softening plants, though no definitive evidence supports this. The zigzagging walls of Sacsayhuaman are not just practical defenses. They reflect deep cosmological symbolism, possibly echoing the shape of lightning or the teeth of a puma, sacred to the Inca. But much about the site remains uncertain. Was it a fortress, a ceremonial center, or something more? Today, the stones still stand, scarred but unmoved, bearing silent witness to an empire that once commanded mountains. And the question lingers, carved into every flawless joint. How did they do it? And what knowledge have we lost with their passing? On the windswept plains of the Bolivian Altiplano, where the Andes meet the sky, lie the scattered ruins of Puma Punku, a site that defies expectation and challenges what we think we know about ancient stonework. Part of the larger Teotihuacan complex, Puma Punku dates to at least 500 CE, though some evidence suggests construction may have begun centuries earlier. What remains is not a grand temple or towering monument, but fragments. Colossal stone blocks strewn across the site, some weighing over 100 tons. Yet it's not their size that stirs debate. It's their precision. The andesite and red sandstone blocks bear crisp, right-angled cuts and perfectly drilled holes, as if shaped by machines rather than chisels. Some stones feature intricate, interlocking geometries, complex H-shapes and notches, designed to fit together like components in a modular system. These joins are so tight, they seem impossible to replicate today without advanced tools. But no written records exist. No tools have been definitively linked to the site. How did a pre-Columbian culture, without metal tools or the wheel, achieve such accuracy? Were copper chisels and sheer manpower enough? Or did the Teotihuacan possess a lost technique, one not yet rediscovered? Modern researchers continue to study Puma Punku's layout, astronomical alignments, and engineering signatures. Yet the deeper they look, the more the mystery seems to grow. What was this place, ritual platform, sacred gateway, or something now beyond our context? The stones lie where they fell, as if frozen in mid-construction. And in their silence, they seem to ask, was this the beginning of something, or the sudden end of forgotten knowledge? On a windswept hill in southeastern Turkey, buried beneath layers of earth for over 10,000 years, an ancient temple slowly emerged, older than the pyramids, older than Stonehenge. This is Göbekli Tepe, a site that has rewritten the origins of human civilization and left us with more questions than answers. Discovered in the 1990s, Göbekli Tepe consists of massive circular enclosures, each centered around towering T-shaped megaliths, some weighing up to 20 tons. The stones are carved with haunting precision. Foxes, snakes, wild boars, vultures, etched in bas-relief with a symbolic language we do not yet understand. And yet, the people who built it had no pottery, no writing, and, until now, were believed to be nomadic hunter-gatherers. Radiocarbon dating places the earliest phase of construction around 9,600 BCE, at the very dawn of the Neolithic era. That means these megaliths predate agriculture, but may have played a role in its rise. Some scholars now speculate that the desire to gather for ritual at Göbekli Tepe may have preceded and even inspired the shift to permanent farming settlements. But why was it built? And why, after centuries of use, was it deliberately buried? No burials have been found. No domestic structures. Just concentric rings of stone, arranged with purpose, then hidden intentionally under thousands of tons of backfill. Was it a temple, a gathering place, or something beyond our current framework? Göbekli Tepe remains a mystery from humanity's forgotten prehistory, a monument not to what we were, but to what we were becoming. And in the stillness of its carved pillars, a deeper question echoes. What else have we forgotten? Amid the rolling plains of Wiltshire, England, a ring of standing stones casts long shadows across the grass. A silent circle aligned not just to the sky, but to something deeper in time. This is Stonehenge, a prehistoric monument whose engineered layout continues to perplex and intrigue. Constructed over several phases beginning around 3000 BCE, Stonehenge's final form emerged over a millennium. At its center stand the iconic sarsen stones, each weighing up to 25 tons, arranged in a horseshoe and ring. These were brought from over 20 miles away, while smaller bluestones, weighing up to 4 tons, were transported nearly 150 miles from the Preseli Hills in Wales. The methods remain uncertain, but likely involved timber sledges, rope, and immense coordination. What sets Stonehenge apart is not just its scale, but its precision. The monument aligns almost perfectly with the summer solstice sunrise and the winter solstice sunset. An astronomical orientation achieved with no written mathematics, no metal tools, and no known measuring instruments. The placement of stones, the spacing between them, and the subtle shaping of each block suggest advanced understanding of geometry and the movement of the heavens. Underground, pits and post holes hint at earlier wooden structures. Long gone, the site evolved, adapted, and endured, outliving the culture that built it. Was it a calendar? A temple? A burial site? Perhaps all three, or perhaps something else entirely. Today, the stones still stand, worn but unbroken. And as the sun rises through the ancient doorway each solstice, it strikes the earth exactly as it did thousands of years ago, a silent testament to a forgotten blueprint and the minds that once read it. Carved into the volcanic basalt cliffs of western India, the Ellora cave complex is not built, it is revealed. Hewn directly from the rock face over centuries, these sacred spaces defy conventional engineering and remain among the most extraordinary examples of monolithic architecture in the world. Located in Maharashtra, Ellora consists of 34 caves, stretching over 2 kilometers, and includes Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain temples and monasteries, all carved between the 6th and 10th centuries CE. Each was meticulously excavated from solid rock, not constructed with blocks or mortar. But it is Cave 16, the Kailasa Temple, that stands as Ellora's crowning enigma. Commissioned in the 8th century by the Rashtrakuta king Krishna I, the Kailasa Temple was carved top-down from a single cliff, removing an estimated 200,000 tons of rock. Unlike other rock-cut structures, it was not tunneled inward, it was sculpted downward, as if the mountain itself were being unwrapped. The result is a freestanding temple complete with pillars, shrines, courtyards, staircases, and elaborate sculptures, each detail rendered with astonishing symmetry and scale. No plans, blueprints, or margin for error. One mistake could not be undone. Yet the artisans succeeded. With iron tools and hammers, guided perhaps by oral tradition and deep spatial knowledge, they created a three-dimensional space of sacred geometry and cosmic symbolism. How did they coordinate such complexity without modern surveying tools? How long did it truly take? Some believe generations of craftsmen passed the task down, carving not just stone, but devotion itself. The mountain was never moved, it was transformed. And to this day, Ellora stands not only as a spiritual refuge, but as a question chiseled into basalt. What kind of knowledge has slipped through history's cracks, still echoing in stone? Etched into the arid desert plains of southern Peru, vast figures emerge only when viewed from above. Spiders, monkeys, hummingbirds, and geometric lines that stretch for miles. These are the Nazca lines. Geoglyphs so large, their full form is invisible from the ground, and their purpose remains one of archaeology's enduring mysteries. Created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, the lines span nearly 200 square miles. They were formed by removing the top layer of dark, oxidized stones to reveal the lighter soil beneath. This technique, combined with the desert's stable climate and near-total lack of rainfall, has preserved the lines for over 1,500 years. Some figures span hundreds of feet, too large to be fully appreciated without flight. Yet the Nazca had no known aerial technology. So how were they designed so precisely? Researchers believe they used simple surveying tools: stakes, ropes, and grids. Experimental archaeology has shown that even large and complex shapes can be plotted this way from ground level. Still, the scale and coordination required suggest an advanced understanding of planning, geometry, and landscape. But the greatest question remains: why? Some theories suggest astronomical alignments, giant calendars marking solstices or constellations. Others see them as ritual pathways, walked during religious ceremonies. A few propose they were offerings to mountain gods, calling for water in this parched land. And yet, no definitive answer has emerged. The lines are best seen from the sky, yet they were made by those who walked the earth. Was it faith that guided their hand, or knowledge we've yet to rediscover? In the silence of the Nazca Desert, the geoglyphs remain, immense, intentional, and still waiting to be fully seen. In the ancient city of Baalbek, nestled in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, lies a temple complex that dwarfs most from antiquity. But it is not the soaring columns or ornate carvings that confound modern engineers. It is the foundation. Massive stone blocks, known as the trilithon, each weighing over 800 tons, rest with improbable precision, and no one knows exactly how they got there. Part of the Roman-era Temple of Jupiter, the trilithon consists of 3 colossal limestone blocks, positioned side by side atop earlier courses of masonry. They form part of a massive platform, one of the largest stone foundations in the ancient world. Nearby, in a quarry just meters away, lie even larger stones, including the so-called Stone of the Pregnant Woman, estimated to weigh over 1,000 tons, never moved from its bedrock. The mystery is not just the weight, it's the accuracy. The blocks are placed with such tight joins that even modern lifting cranes would struggle to replicate the feat. Roman builders are credited with the temple, begun around the 1st century BCE. But the trilithon may predate the Romans, possibly the work of earlier civilizations whose construction techniques remain undocumented. No pulleys, no concrete, no iron cranes. How were these blocks moved, raised, and aligned with such precision? Was it brute labor, ingenious engineering, or technologies now lost to time? Though the temple above shows the grandeur of Rome, the foundation speaks of something older and less understood. Today, the trilithon rests undisturbed, a silent paradox in stone. And with each unanswered question, Baalbek whispers of forgotten powers beneath the feet of empire. Off the remote coast of Pohnpei in Micronesia, scattered across a shallow lagoon, lie the haunting ruins of Nan Madol, a city built atop coral reefs, from massive stone columns that seem to rise from the sea itself. Often called the Venice of the Pacific, Nan Madol is unlike any other ancient site, and its origins remain shrouded in mystery. Constructed between the 8th and 13th centuries CE, Nan Madol consists of over 90 artificial islets, connected by tidal canals and surrounded by walls of basalt prismatic columns, some weighing up to 50 tons. These columns, naturally hexagonal, were quarried from volcanic cliffs miles away and somehow transported across open water, without pulleys, wheels, or draft animals. What makes Nan Madol extraordinary is not just its remote location, but its foundation. Coral reef platforms painstakingly built up to support monumental stone structures in a tidal zone prone to flooding. Some islets served as residential areas, others as ceremonial or royal precincts. The central islet, Nandawas, houses tombs encased in thick basalt walls, built, somehow without binding agents, yet still standing centuries later. Oral traditions speak of the twin sorcerer builders, Olasopa and Elisipa, who used magic to levitate the stones into place. While poetic, the tale hints at real questions archaeologists still face. How were such heavy stones transported and placed with no evidence of advanced tools or maritime infrastructure? Why was such an ambitious city built on water, isolated, exposed, and difficult to construct? Today, the mangroves reclaim the channels, and silence fills the ruins. But beneath the moss-covered stones, Nan Madol holds a secret, an empire that rose from coral and vanished, leaving only stone islands as witness. In the highlands of central Mexico, long before the rise of the Aztecs, a vast city rose with geometric precision and monumental ambition. This was Teotihuacan, the place where gods were born. A city planned not at random, but by cosmic design. At its heart stand the pyramids of the sun and moon, aligned not only to the land, but to the sky. Founded around 100 BCE and reaching its peak by 500 CE, Teotihuacan was one of the largest cities in the ancient world. Its grid-like layout centers on the Avenue of the Dead, a grand processional path flanked by temples and plazas. But what intrigues researchers is how this avenue, and the pyramids themselves, are oriented. Rather than aligning to true north, the city is tilted roughly 15.5 degrees east of north. This orientation has puzzled scholars, but many now believe it was deliberate, tied to astronomical events. The angle closely corresponds with the setting of the Pleiades star cluster and the rising of the sun on certain ritual dates, possibly linked to agricultural or calendrical cycles. The Pyramid of the Sun, the third largest pyramid in the world, is thought to mark the setting sun on specific days of the year when it aligns with the nearby Cerro Gordo mountain, echoing a sacred horizon. No texts remain from Teotihuacan's builders, and little is known of their language or rulers. Yet their architectural choices suggest a deep understanding of celestial patterns, woven into stone and space. Was this alignment an act of devotion, a calendar carved in earth, or a guide to something now forgotten? The pyramids still cast their long shadows across the ancient avenue, and in their measured silence, they remind us, this was not just a city, it was a cosmic map. Stretching across the rugged spine of South America, from the high Andes to coastal deserts and dense forests, the Inca road system, Göbekli, was more than a network of stone paths. It was the connective tissue of an empire, engineered with astonishing precision across some of the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. At its height, the Göbekli spanned over 24,000 miles, linking the Inca capital of Cusco to far-flung corners of the empire, from present-day Colombia to Chile and Argentina. Built without the wheel, iron tools, or draft animals, the roads were tailored to the land, steep stairways cut into mountainsides, rope bridges spanning canyons, and carefully graded stone paths that resisted erosion and rain. What set this system apart was its integration. Relay stations called tambos were spaced every few miles, offering shelter and supplies. Special messengers, the chasquis, ran these routes in a relay, carrying messages and goods at remarkable speed. In key places, the roads were paved with carefully fitted stones, their foundations layered for drainage and durability. Even in remote regions, they remain intact today. Some roads are so narrow they cling to cliffs. Others are wide ceremonial avenues. All were built with purpose, military, administrative, spiritual, binding the empire in both function and symbol. Yet the Incas left no written blueprints, and no wheeled carts ever rolled across these stones. How did a civilization without formal writing manage such scale and standardization? What knowledge guided their engineers across such extremes? The roads are quiet now, walked mostly by pilgrims in time, but beneath each footprint lies a legacy of movement, mastery, and a civilization that mapped not only territory, but the very rhythm of the land itself.